A dazzling declaration. Victory of devotion. In a world brimming with dramatic unveilings and electrifying moments, one revelation shimmers with irresistible brilliance. Under the dazzling lights of a press event that crackled with anticipation, Sukai stepped forward with unwavering confidence. His announcement sent ripples through every heart in attendance. Captivating cameras and headlines in an instant, he declared that Songyun is his only partner, a proclamation so bold and so stunning that it changed the atmosphere within that grand hall forever. 1. The grand entrance. Imagine a vast hall filled with flashing lights and the soft hum of eager voices drifting through the air. A crimson-red carpet snakes through the center, inviting celebrities and journalists alike. Sukai arrives with an air of poised grace. His every step exudes calm assurance, yet behind his eyes burns an ember of purpose. Fans gasp and cameras whirl. Reporters lean forward as if drawn by a magnetic field, anticipating words that might rewrite narratives. When Sukai finally takes the stage, silence envelopes the space. Even the buzzing lights seem to pause in reverence. He gazes out at the assembled crowd with a steadiness that commands attention. Then he speaks his truth with clarity that resonates through every microphone and every phone recording the moment. His announcement is not just news, it is a declaration that sparkles brighter than the brightest constellation. 2. Echoes of devotion. At that exact moment, time appears to stretch. The reporters scribble furiously, the audience exhales in unison. In that shared breath, a cosmic shift takes hold. Fans clutch one another, eyes wide as they absorb this surprising affirmation. It is not merely a professional collaboration, he confirms it is a profound bond. Headlines flash across screens. Social media feed explodes with comments, heart reacts, and shares surging up in waves of collective joy. Visualize a sea of glowing screens as followers broadcast updates live from every corner of the globe. Tiny ripples of excitement become tidal waves of celebration. It is the kind of scene movies try to capture, yet seldom do, a raw moment of truth that feels simultaneously intimate and cinematic. 3. Moments of magic. Let us step inside their shared world in one imagined scene. Sukai stands in a softly lit corridor behind the stage. The hum of equipment fades as he gazes at a framed photo of the two of them smiling after a long day of filming. He smooths the image with a gentle touch and inhales deeply. The corridor walls, painted in pale shades of twilight, absorb the quiet hum of emotion. In another imagined moment, Songyun sits backstage, her fingers tracing invisible patterns on a cool metal chair. She hears Sukai's voice drifting through the wall saying those unforgettable words again in her mind. And in that echo, she finds warmth. It is as if each syllable crystallized into light and settled gently into her heart. 4. Vivid contrasts. Picture the stage framed by curtains of deep noir elegance. A single spotlight bathes Sukai in luminescence, his silhouette sharp against the darkness behind him. Every gesture becomes meaningful, his voice clear, unwavering, as he declares Songyun to be his only partner. The effect is stunning. The simplicity of that phrase resonates more powerfully than elaborate speeches or ornate gesture. In contrast, the crowd is vibrant, pulsing with life. Reporters lean forward atop chairs, fans grip phones until their knuckles whiten. The excitement in their faces radiates outward like heat from a sunlit rock. It is a collision of serenity and fervor, all balanced perfectly in that singular instance. 5. A cinematic flashback. I invite you to drift further into imagination. This could be a scene from a film that begins with wide aerial shots of a city at dusk, lights twinkling like stardust. Cut to close-ups of Sukai catching his reflection in a polished window, preparing himself, calming his heartbeat. Fade to Songyun standing under a canopy of fairy lights, waiting patiently in backstage corridors, her silhouette serene. The camera lingers on her fingers, then zooms out to where light spills across her features. It feels like quiet before a storm. Then the camera cuts back to the stage. The buzz of the crowd fades as the two of them find themselves at opposite ends of that physical space, yet connected by intent. Sukai takes a breath and speaks those words cross the distance. They land gently into the shared space between them and ripple outward. They reshape the moment. 6. The aftermath. After the declaration, the atmosphere changes. The press event shifts into something else entirely. Reporters cluster around Sukai on the red carpet, their microphones, fans, cameras, all vying to capture his next word. He smiles with serene confidence, a smile that speaks of sincerity, not performance. Every flash of light captures that unspoken trust he has in the person he named. Meanwhile, across the hall, Songyun rises gracefully. She stands tall. Her eyes glisten with a blend of surprise, affection, and something deeper, something that tells you this is not staged, this is genuine. When their eyes meet across that space, the world narrows. It is just them two, and that glittering connection. 7. Hypnotic reactions. Now imagine being one of the onlookers, a journalist who has covered dozens of events and seen thousands of statements. You read his announcement. You witness the shift in Songyun's expression, her eyes glisten. You detect the fragile vulnerability that lies beneath her poised exterior. You know from experience that most public declarations are carefully curated, but this one hit you like a flash of lightning. Outside, the venue roars with energy. Fans chant their names. Trending hashtags bloom like wildflowers across social media. Feeling threads brim with emotion. Support surges across borders, all united under this single heartfelt proclamation. 8. Poetry in motion. There is poetry in the motion of those moments. Sukai stepping forward like a destined comet crossing space. Songyun absorbing that moment with grace like a calm sea receiving gentle rain. The scene is cinematic, luminous, unforgettable. It is a collision of raw honesty and public platform made indelible by two names uttered in unison by realizations of devotion that transcend screens. 9. Dance of enthusiasm. Throughout the night, lights continue to shimmer. Reporters move like choreographed dancers between their questions. Fans outside the venue lift homemade banners spangled with messages of love. Street vendors sell themed paraphernalia, t-shirts, posters, all fluttering like confetti in the night breeze. It is a spontaneous outpouring of celebration that seems to defy gravity and logic and embrace pure magnetic energy. 10. The symbol of change. This announcement becomes more than a statement. It becomes a symbol of partnership as art, a reminder that connections can exist outside of constructed narratives. When someone stands and names one person as their only partner, it is an anchor in a world often adrift with ambiguity. It is the kind of moment that shapes memories. Journalists later describe it as the most authentic proclamation of devotion we've witnessed, or a glimpse into truth rendered through public courage. Even those indifferent to celebrity feel a soft pull because it is ineffably human. 11. Sweeping afterglow. Days later, the glow lingers. People recall where they were when those words echoed through the speakers. Social media highlights roll by in a constant stream. Editorials dissect the meaning of the phrasing, the timing, the performance, yet beneath all that analysis lies a simpler truth. Someone said something heartfelt in a brash world and made it feel sacred. Fans create tributes, artworks, videos, gentle montages of Sukai and Songyun. Some write poetry inspired by that declaration. Others imagine alternate endings to the moment, like slow-motion reenactments of a smile captured in pixels. The reverberations are everywhere. 12. Inner worlds. Let us now explore inner landscapes. Behind closed doors, imagine Sukai reviewing videos of his announcement, replaying the echo of his voice. That steady conviction that rang out into a crowd could also be the whisper that carries into late-night thoughts. He might fall asleep replaying that phrase, thinking of its weight, thinking of how it shaped their shared reality. In parallel, picture Songyun at her dressing table. The room is silent save for the hum of city lights outside. She stares at her reflection. She recalls the breath she took as he spoke. The words have wrapped around her heart. She feels seen and grounded, all in the same breath. 13. A global canvas. This isn't just a moment in a local arena. The declaration spreads across continents. Translated captions traverse screens in time zones spanning the globe. In distant places of different languages, people read translations, debates spark, fans rejoice. The announcement becomes part of a broader cultural tapestry, a signal that crosses distance and language, bridging gaps of context with pure intention. 14. Emotional resonance. What makes this moment unforgettable is not the glamour lighting or cameras or gilded backdrop, it is authenticity. Something deep and gentle lodged itself in a space built for performance. We watch representations of affection daily, yet rarely feel such clarity. In that moment, we glimpsed vulnerability clothed in bravery, a reminder that to name one person is to stake identity and intent inside them. 15. The unseen aftermath. Days pass, the event recedes into memory, yet around it blooms a garden of unseen aftershocks. Fans write about how they discovered new meaning in their own relationships inspired by that single phrase. Others talk about what it means to name loyalty in a world of infinite choices. For many, it becomes a personal touchstone. Meanwhile, Soo Kai and Tan Songyun move through their lives under a new light. Reporters speculate about upcoming collaborations, about professional synergy, but beneath speculation lies that core acknowledgement. They share something that transcends scripts, briefs, promotions, and surface impressions. 16. Silent moments of connection. In an imagined small vignette, they meet later in a quiet studio hallway. The world's noise dims, the corridor feels suspended in that unspoken memory. No announcement needed here, just their eyes and a subtle smile passing between them, a silent vow that lives in the spaces between words. 17. Legacy of a line. When years have passed, this evening will still be remembered. An industry veteran might cite it in an interview as a defining declaration of sincerity. Fans will rewatch clips and smile at that proud moment of announcement. The phrase may become emblematic, a shorthand for fearless devotion. And for Soo Kai and Tan Songyun themselves, it will remain a moment of fine clarity amid blur, a single perfectly uttered line that altered trajectory. A testament to shared vision. 18. Cultural ripples. In the wake of the event, artists compose songs referencing "only partner," in lyrics referencing the purity of naming one soul across time. Writers pen stories in which their characters mirror that fearless naming. The idea seeps into pop culture as a motif of devotion. It becomes more than news, it becomes touchstone, it becomes the kind of moment that ripples outward across creativity. 19. The human heart taking center stage. What stirs us in that scene is the human heart manifesting in a public space. It is the paradox of intimacy and spectacle. It is not just what was said, but how it landed sharp and clear when audiences are primed for pomp. It is rare to feel something so personal transmit through such layers, yet still retain its tenderness. 20. Closing reflection. So let this write-up stand as a tapestry of moments both vivid and intangible. Let it mirror the flipbook of emotion in that hall, the soft afterglow in quiet rooms, the global chorus of hearts that vibrated in unison. Let it be remembered not only as news, but as spectacle of sincerity. Soo Kai's words were simple but resonant. Tan Songyun's presence was quiet but magnetic. Their synergy was a scene wrought of light, calm, anticipation, and courageous honesty. That single announcement echoed far beyond the cameras. It reached somewhere deeper into collective longing for connection and fidelity. And in the echo of those names, Soo Kai and Tan Songyun, we recognized that sometimes the most spectacular scenes are those born from truth uttered plainly. The grand entrance, a night of stars, a heart revealed. It was the kind of night that felt written by the stars themselves. The sky above the city shimmered in deep hues of navy and velvet. A breeze whispered secrets through the glass towers, while below, a sea of flashing cameras and velvet ropes pulsed with energy. The venue stood like a monument to anticipation, its silver-lined walls reflecting every spark of light like a mirror of dreams. This wasn't just another press event. It was something larger, something fated. And then, just as the chatter reached a frenzied hum, the moment arrived. A black luxury car purred to a halt at the foot of the red carpet. Silence gripped the crowd in a sudden collective inhale. Then the door opened slowly, deliberately, like the opening scene of a much-anticipated film. Soo Kai stepped out. He didn't just walk. He entered. Cameras went wild, shutters clicking like thunder, each flash illuminating the perfect architecture of his silhouette. He wore a suit of deep midnight, tailored within a whisper of his frame, the fabric catching light in glints of silver with every movement. His hair was swept back, not stiff with product but effortlessly styled, as if it had been touched by wind and fate in equal measure. Underneath it all, there was something else, intention. Su-kai wasn't just arriving for a press event. He was arriving for a moment he'd waited a long time to live. The atmosphere cracked with magic. The crowd parted like waves before him. No words were spoken, yet the electricity in the air buzzed with questions. Was he going to address the rumors? Would he speak of the one person the internet couldn't stop linking to him? He moved with slow precision, greeting no one yet acknowledging everyone. Every step he took was met with reverence. Phones trembled in hands. Reporters leaned forward, abandoning their prepared questions, sensing something unscripted was on its way. The velvet ropes barely contained the energy radiating outward from his mere presence. As he climbed the steps to the glowing podium at the entrance to the hall, the lights above him shifted. They dimmed, then refocused, creating a single beam of white that landed squarely on his chest. Like a spotlight from the universe, naming him the center of this unfolding story. A moment before the storm, Su-kai paused at the top step. His head bowed slightly, not out of nervousness, but in stillness. He looked down at the carpet below, the fans behind the barricade, the media row packed with familiar faces. He let the noise wash over him. The tension in his jaw relaxed. Then he looked up. And in that single glance, everything changed. His eyes, bright with clarity and something deeper, swept across the crowd and landed directly on the cameras. He didn't blink. He didn't look away. For those who watched from their screens at home, it felt like he was looking straight through them into some private space where truth lived quietly. This wasn't an actor preparing for a scene. This was a man preparing to speak from the heart. The declaration begins. He stepped forward, and the air shifted. "Good evening," he said. His voice didn't need amplification. It carried with the confidence of someone who had rehearsed nothing, yet meant everything. The journalists lifted pens. The fans held their breath. The room seemed to still. Even the breeze outside the grand hall held back its movement. "I wasn't going to say much tonight," he began, his voice calm but laced with a current of something more. But sometimes moments arrive that don't follow a script. They just happen. He smiled then, but it wasn't for the cameras. It was for someone. A secret hidden in plain sight. As his eyes flickered briefly toward the entry doors, just for a breath of a second, those who noticed would say later that he looked inward. Others would insist he was looking for someone specific. And those who knew, they were already certain. Songyun hadn't arrived yet, or so people believed. But Su-kai's smile held a secret message. Not one of mystery, but of certainty. A quiet kind of faith. He raised his hand slowly, pressing his palm briefly to his chest. "In every journey, there's a partner," he said. "Sometimes they're chosen by fate. Sometimes by decision. But every now and then, they're chosen by the heart." The room collectively gasped, but Su-kai didn't stop. He stepped down from the podium, abandoning the expected. Walking now, not with the rigid stride of a celebrity, but the determined pace of someone walking toward his own truth. Cameras followed his every step. Reporters called out. Security flinched. But Su-kai was focused. With each footfall, he was rewriting the script that had been handed to him by an industry of images and illusion. And just before entering the venue doors, he turned back to the crowd. "I want you all to hear it from me," he said. His voice now carried a tremble, but not of fear. It was the tremble of someone standing on the edge of something real. "From this moment forward, let it be known, I have one partner, one name, one person I trust more than anyone else." He didn't need to say it, but he did. "Her name is Songyun." The sky reacts. As if the city itself were listening, a wind gust swept down the boulevard. The banners flapped with force. A hush spread through the crowd, thick with disbelief, wonder, joy, and awe. The atmosphere cracked, not with sound, but with revelation. It was as if time itself acknowledged the gravity of what he had just said. Inside the hall, a waiting glow. Unbeknownst to many, Songyun was already inside the building, shielded from view. She had watched the monitors backstage, her fingers curled tightly around a water bottle that had long since warmed in her palm. When she heard him say her name, her eyes closed. No reaction cameras caught it. No fan recorded it. But in that silent moment, 1,000 invisible stars exploded across the quiet space behind her eyelids.
She rose slowly.
Because now the night had truly begun.